Freshman Somali Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is repulsed. She is pissed and she's calling for accountability for another member of Congress that she is shocked for what he said. This is interesting because there's been a lot of media articles, a lot of people trying to kick Ilhan Omar out of Congress, out of different hearings for controversial comments. We defended her on that because we believe in freedom of speech. So this must be really controversial. This must be something really out there that Ilhan Omar is taking a stand on to call for accountability for this congressman. Let's play the video that she's repulsed about, Jason.
Socialist Democrats and their fake news media allies were shameless in their big lie scam that has inspired hatred against President Trump and violence against Americans who support America's foundational principles. If socialists and the fake news media had any honor, they would cleanse their souls and atone for their sins by uttering mea culpas and apologizing to the American people for the fraud and scam committed.
Let me just stop it there before we get to the meat and potatoes. Other than the religious angle, can't really disagree with the guy, can you?
I mean, right wing. I mean, he's talking about the socialist fake news media. It's far more than just that. It's a very simple kind of right wing point of view, but a very common one. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Oh, and he's definitely placating to his audience again with the religious angle.
Yeah. More likely, however, they will double down and propagate even more big lies because doubling down is essential to big lie theory. In that vein, I quote from another socialist who mastered big lie propaganda to a maximum and deadly effect. Quote, in the big lie, there is always a certain force of credibility because the broad masses of a nation are always more easily corrupted in the deeper strata of their emotional nature than consciously or voluntarily. That quote was in 1925 by a member of Germany's National Socialist German Workers' Party. That's right, Germany's Socialist Party, more commonly known as the Nazis. The author was socialist Adolf Hitler in his book, Mein Kampf.
All right, then.
Yeah. I mean, a little stretch there, but again, nothing really controversial. And Ilhan Omar literally tweeted, this is repulsive. We need to hold this guy accountable. I mean, come on. He didn't say anything out there. He didn't, like, you read the headline here. The headline by The Hill, clickbait title. Omar requests accountability for GOP lawmaker who quoted Hitler on House floor. You automatically look at this and it's like, oh, this GOP lawmaker probably put on a hood, just started trying to light some crosses, then it started praising Hitler. No. He talked about the dangers of Hitler and Hitler using democratic socialism, which he did. One of the reasons why I'm still on this earth is because of the socialistic policies of Nazi Germany. When they took over Poland, if families had more than 3 families and signed over their citizenship to Germany, they would get no taxes. My grandma was rescued and was literally had both of her parents killed by the SS, but she was rescued by another family and taken in. And that's the only reason that I'm still here around, because of, again, the very socialistic policies, which should have a big warning on them, because historically, if you look at the number one cause of human suffering, the number one cause of a lot of homicides, it is democide. The definition by democide is death by government. Historically, whether it's the Chinese, whether it's the Soviet Union, whether it's all these other big civilizations, what did they always promise? We're the government. We're the big authority. We're going to come take care of you. And historically, the opposite has happened. But this is kind of bringing into another point of this kind of far leftist mentality that wants to literally shut down any conversation about the past and rewrite history like it didn't exist. This is, to me, an example of this, because it's important to understand what happened. It's important to talk about historical context, and rewriting it, acting like it was never there. It's a recipe for disaster because it's a recipe to repeat it. That's my take. What's your take, Jason?
Well, again, I've liked some of the things she said. She has been singled out, but she should totally be held accountable for what she is saying. Look, this guy used that in a historical context, not to praise the Nazis, not to say, hey, look at what a great job they did, but to compare them to their National Socialist policies and say, hey, you know what? This guy used the same terminology. So I thought it was very disingenuous of her to do that. But you know what else, Luke? This was another, I'm about to take CNN's side. I know this is crazy talk, right? But in February, just of last month, she said some things about Trump that just are not true. I'm going to dissect them. And then her response was childlike. That, listen, this is actually journalism. She should have to be held accountable for what she put out there. And this is what she put out there.
No, thank you.
Then asked about this Wednesday tweet where she said to Trump, "You have trafficked in hate your whole life against Jews, Muslims, indigenous, immigrants, black people, and more. I learned from people impacted by my words. When will you?"
So pause that here. That here. Because one thing we do have to bring up, we're not fans of Donald Trump at all. But Donald Trump has been in the public light with many luminaries, with many figures that are now criticizing him. And never once did any of these celebrities call him a racist before he got into politics. None of them. There was even a video I was watching of Mike Tyson congratulating Donald Trump for backing him when Mike Tyson was going through, of course, his own controversies. And Mike Tyson was shocked how personable and nice Donald Trump was to him in the public sphere when he could have, accused him of all these other horrible things. So again, this is very unfounded. Trafficked in hate your whole life. This is a huge stretch against Jews, Muslims, indigenous immigrants, black people. Come on. I don't believe that to be true. There's a lot of things to be critical about Donald Trump, but this is not one of them.
No, and let's break down each one right now. Okay, let's start with Jews, right?
Oh yeah, I know. This is the most craziest one.
His son-in-law is Jared Kushner, a man who had Netanyahu staying in his bedroom when he was a child. Currently, Trump has just declared out of nowhere, the first major power ever, because no one's ever declared this, that the Golan Heights region is Israel's. And he named Jerusalem the capital. Sounds like a guy that hates the Jews
U.S.
to me.
embassy there, which American presidents have been promising for decades, but didn't have the kind of cojones to do. Netanyahu literally said the relations between Israel and the United States haven't been stronger than ever. And again, we've been critical of Donald Trump saying, hey, he's putting Israel first. He's putting Saudi Arabia first. He's putting all these other countries first and not caring about the United States, especially on a bigger geopolitical foreign policy perspective. Sorry, Jason, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, let's get to Muslims. Now, I know that right now with our military presence in the Middle East, he has not come through with his promises to get us back. But when we talk about Muslims in general, when he received that Presidential Medal of Freedom Award, along with Muhammad Ali, who just happened to be a Muslim, smiling, taking pictures with him. He must have been just the hugest bigot. I always remember him back in the 80s and 90s talking about indigenous immigrants. Oh, wait, he didn't. And then we get to black people. That wasn't Don King. He made tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars with promoting fights at the Taj Mahal and elsewhere. Give me a break. He didn't appoint Omarosa, who's a horrible person, by the way. A cutthroat, horrible, lying, chauvinistic, psychotic, sociopathic person. I think that's why she got along with Trump. Again, we're not Trump training here. But he appointed her not because she was black or wasn't black, but because she was ruthless. And it didn't matter because this is bullshit. Now, again, yeah. I want to give CNN credit. Watch, they ask her about this, and her response to me is totally unacceptable.
When will you? Omar took strong exception. This morning you said the president trafficked.
What is wrong with you?
Question about your tweet. You had a tweet saying the president trafficked in hate.
Yes, I tweeted. There's a response. You can run that and have a nice day.
Why can't you explain more what you meant to say? A Somali?
Yeah.
It's just, she's childish. I always support people saying, what the hell's wrong with you to CNN? But it was a childish response. It wasn't a very accountable response. And if she's going to be holding people accountable for mentioning history that she doesn't like, I think it's only fair that she says, hey, I believe in this because of this evidence and this evidence and this evidence, but there's really none presented. It's just emotional kind of trauma. Like, you can't say this. I believe in this. Why do you believe in it? Like, come on. Like, we again. You have something to say, Jason. I cut you off again. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, you look at this woman. We know that she was brought in and branded much like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. These are the new superstars in the Democratic Party. They're the women of color of a different culture. And quite frankly, Luke, I do like her anti-war stance. I do like her standing up to AIPAC and the Israeli lobby. Those are positive things. However, if you want me to back those positive things, when you say something as outlandish as that, you better back it up with evidence. And there better not be a literal butt ton of evidence publicly available, like we just discussed, to basically eviscerate your argument. So please be more careful, Ilhan Omar, and start telling the truth. You'll get a lot more fans.
For the record, Jason is speaking for himself. I view every politician as a leech trying to suck the blood and everything that's good and holy from the American people. And I don't trust and back any politician. But when it came to Ilhan Omar, we defended her when people were attacking her and trying to kick her out for against controversial tropes. And I'm like, come on. Let's just have a normal discussion here. These people are preventing it with this crazy outrage culture. Delete history. How dare you say this bull crap again? Let's not kid ourselves. Let's have an open dialogue, and I think we can all agree it starts with people not trying to censor people and shut people down if they talk about something that they dislike or they disagree with. It's a very simple concept. That's my take on it. If you have something else to say, Jason, cut me off. But other than that, stay tuned for more. We're doing 4 videos a day. Subscribe, click the notification button, and share this video because, YouTube probably won't. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more.